Hey pals, welcome to day 34 of 100 miles, 100 days on a $100 treadmill. I'm Tanya, this is my fat cat Jim, and we're ready to take a walk. So let's go. All right, let's get this started. Here's the countdown. Come on, everybody, here we go. And let's ramp it up. Day 34. All right. Feeling pretty good about this. We've hit our third of the way mark last night with the live cast, so that was cool. And yeah, thanks everybody for joining me. That was a lot of fun. It's always fun to have at least one other person along. And you know, however many of you can join me every time, it's just great because Chris and I have fun whether anybody else is there or not, but you guys definitely add a lot more to it. So thanks for coming along. And if you didn't catch it, we do a live cast every Tuesday at 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which I know is a little late for my East Coast friends, but it's what works out for us at the moment, with Chris still working and being able to get home in time for that. So appreciate your patience on that. Maybe one day we'll do it earlier in the day, but that's what it is now. Anyway, I hear my cats running around back there, so I always think it's funny to watch back the video and see where they're running around behind me and doing crazy things, because as I've said before, the screen on my camera that I can see is really small. So I can basically kind of see where my head is located in the frame, and that's about it. Because you can see I do wear glasses, and I can kind of see close up when I do that. Not that you really want to see up my nose. So what I wanted to start out talking to you guys about today is that thing that we have been talking a little bit about every day recently, which is how the early entry for hotel guests has ended and what that looks like in the parks. So I've heard a couple of theories, because all of the vloggers basically who have kind of made a living on where to go on what day and how to beat the crowds are going to have to maybe rethink what that looks like, because there's going to be both of the parks are going to open at the same time in the morning. There's not a reason now to choose one over the other. And so what's that going to look like? Is everybody always going to want to start in Disneyland? Or is it going to even out? I don't know. Some have also theorized that that maybe what Disney is going to do in the future is to bring back early entry, but to do it in a way where, like Universal does it, where you pay for an early entry. I think, like, if I remember correctly, when we went to Universal over the summer, it was like an extra $20 to be able to get into Nintendo Land an hour early. So, you know, maybe they're going to do something like that. Maybe they'll do an upcharge for an early entry. It has yet to be seen. I'm sure that they are going to be, you know, they're going to roll out this no early entry thing, see what it looks like to people, see kind of, they do a lot of A and B testing with things like this. So possibly, my cat is being crazy. Not possibly my cat is being crazy. He is being crazy. But so, you know, the possibility that I think that's a good theory. I think it is a good theory that they'll say, hey, if it's worth it to you, go ahead and pay for it. I don't know. I don't know how feasible that is to have to pay an entire staff of park to be there a half hour early, if that would be worth their time. But what I wanted to do today is go ahead and let's start a recording, and let's open our Disneyland app. And what I'm going to do today is just right now look at what wait times are looking like today. So we'll push that plus button at the very bottom in the center, and we'll click the very bottom choice in that list of book Lightning Lane entry, and we'll switch over to Tipboard, and we'll look at wait time. So 12:35, and yes, you'll see that I'm recording this a day early. So this was January 6th at 12:35. Alice in Wonderland has a 35-minute wait. Astro Orbiter has a 25-minute wait. Autopia has a 45-minute wait. These are all in the high range. Big Thunder has a 55. These are all in the high range. Everything looks a little bit high to me today. Haunted Mansion has a 75-minute wait time. Indiana Jones has an 85-minute wait time with no Lightning Lane. Lightning Lane's already sold out at noon. So that means that the park is busy today. It's a Small World has a 40-minute wait. These are long wait lines today, pals. I would not be, I mean, Millennium Falcon has a 40-minute wait. Yeah, these are all on the high side today. Even Star Tours has a 45-minute wait. I mean, that just doesn't happen. So we can see that our wait times are pretty high in Disneyland. Go back to the top and where it says Disneyland Park, and underneath that there's a link to change the park. So we're going to change parks to Disney California Adventure, and we'll see what it looks like over there. Golden Zephyr has a 30-minute wait. Goofy Sky School has an 85-minute wait. Guardians has an 80-minute wait. These are high wait times. There is also the effect that Disney is selling these. They're selling those Costco tickets that we've talked about before. They're also selling California resident tickets for like half off right now. So people are taking advantage of these deals, and they're going to Disneyland right now. I would have thought that by now, with everybody already going back to school, that things would be quieting down. Clearly, that is not the case. I mean, Little Mermaid has a standby wait of 50 minutes. That should never be 50 minutes. With a return time of 2:10, Little Mermaid is one of those rides that I look at when I'm looking to see how busy the park actually is, because this ride is just like Haunted Mansion. It's got buggies that are constantly moving on a track. You step onto basically like a treadmill or a moving walkway, and you step into your vehicle. So it moves at a constant pace. When it is a 50-minute wait, it's just because there's a lot of people in the park. Mater's is at 45. That's usually a 10-minute walk-on. This could also be that people they're still taking advantage of the fact that everything is still up for Christmas time. So this is like the last week. You're going to be able to catch everything still in Christmas mode. So the lights and the parades and things like that are still in Christmas mode, I think until the 13th. Radiator Springs Racers, 165 minutes. Pals, we know that's bad. With a return time of 3:20. So that's a return time of almost 3 hours. And that is a single pass that you have to purchase. So for $23 extra, you still have to wait for 3 hours before you can get on that ride. So bad deal today. Yeah, everything. Oh my goodness. Today, January 6th, 2026, is not the day to be in either one of these parks. So I just kind of wanted to take a look at that so that we could see. We'll take a look at that kind of continuously as we go along in these next couple of weeks, just to kind of see if we can pull a pattern out of what's going on. If the parks stay this busy through the year. People are taking advantage, like I said, of that California resident ticket. There's also the factor that people who have magic keys were blocked out of all of December. And so they are kind of flooding back in right now to experience the Christmas time celebrations like we talked about just a minute ago. So that very well could be making that volume a lot higher in the parks today as well. And I bet you guys are wondering how those Valentine ears are coming along. So let's take a look at that. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So we've got the ears sewn up. We have what we did yesterday with deciding that that was a better size for our bow. So I'm going to set the ears aside. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and pull that thread out that we temporarily put in yesterday. Should just pull out very easily, just like that. And then what I'm going to do is, let's see, let's choose the flatter piece here. And I'm going to use another tool today. This is a little tailor's chalk inside of a little tool that has a wheel on it. There's a little tiny wheel in the tip here. And what it does is when it's turned upside down, there is loose chalk inside. And when I turn this little wheel, I'm going to just demonstrate here, it leaves marks behind. So what I'm going to do is I can kind of see where I had that, where I made that stitch yesterday. And so I'm just going to mark how I'd like that bow to sit. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stay pretty much right on the stitching that was originally there for the bottom, because that bottom actually fits the curve of the headband really well. So I don't really want to change that. So that will give us a place to sew when we put these back together. I'm going to fold this in half. And if you want, you could pin this. Let's see, I don't think I have any pins close by. Of course not. But what I'm going to do is just, I'm going to leave myself, because you can see that where that original stitch line is and where I've put my chalk mark, there is about 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. So when I trim around this new chalk line, I'm going to leave that about 1/4 of an inch seam allowance here as well. And the reason I'm cutting them just from one side is so that I will have an even bow when I'm done here. So the next thing I would do is repeat this on the other side, so that I'm going to cut this other side out so that I will have two pieces of this pattern that will fit back together nicely. Okay, so we have a bow that is about 1/4 of an inch smaller than it was before. We're going to put right sides together and we're going to pin this together so that we can take them to the sewing machine. And we're pinning right sides together. So the side that we want to see when this is finished is the side that we're holding together while we're pinning. And I'm having to manipulate it around just a little bit because it is It's semi-stretchy fabric. Not super stretchy, but a little bit. And then it doesn't want to slide on itself, so I'm just having to kind of move it to where I want it to be. When I am sewing this together on the machine, and I want to remind myself that this part I want to keep open so that I have a place to turn it inside out, is I'm going to use that tailor's mark again, and I'm just going to put a little X over that pin and over that pin. So that'll just kind of help me to remember, stop here, start here, stop here, and go around the correct way. So we will next go up to the machine and get that sewn. I'm having so much fun making those videos, pals. I've wanted to do that kind of stuff for a long time, where I can do that top-down video and show people how I work my magic. Thanks for coming along with me on those.